All right, thank you everyone. Welcome to the Study Abroad at Nanyang Technological University information session. My name is Gigi Estilo. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Berkeley Study Abroad Advisor for Singapore. So today's info session will go over study abroad programs at NTU, and I'm joined today by two reciprocity students from NTU, and I'll let them go ahead and briefly introduce themselves. Kirtana, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kirtana. I'm a year three economics and data science student, and my home university is NTU Singapore. And I'm currently here on exchange, like a semester exchange at UC Berkeley, doing economics and data science as well.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Brandon. So similar to Kitana, I'm from NTU Singapore and currently on a semester exchange as well. Studying over at Haas School of Business with a major in finance. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introductions. You're going to hear back from them later in today's presentation. Again, just sharing about their experiences so far and as NTU students. And then they'll also share a little bit about some exciting summer programs and independent programs. And just a heads up, today's session is recorded and we'll send the recording after this via email. If at any point you have questions, feel free to let us know and we'll try to get in through as many of the questions as we can today. Let's see if I can go to the next slide. So very briefly, today's agenda, we're going to be talking about, so I'll start us off talking about NTU and some of the UC system-wide study abroad programs. When is a good time to study abroad, eligibility and preparing for applications, paying for study abroad as a Berkeley student. And then I'll pass it over to Kirtana and Brandon to talk a little bit about the direct exchange programs through NTU. We also call them independent programs, and then next steps to get in touch. And then we'll have some time at the end for some Q&A. So NTU and UC So for Berkeley students that are watching or joining us today, pretty much UC Berkeley students can go abroad all throughout the academic year. That includes fall, spring, and the full year at NTU through what we call University of California Education Abroad Program. So this is, like I said, our UC system-wide study abroad program where you're going with not just Berkeley students, but other UC students. And then if you have like a friend at another UC, for example, this could be a really great opportunity to go abroad together. We call these programs through UCEAP, specifically at NTU, immersion programs. So what you think of a typical study abroad experience, nominated NTU students will take classes alongside the local student population, other UC and exchange students, all taught by the NTU faculty. You'll have a wide variety of classes to choose from, and all of the classes you take will go back to your Berkeley transcript and show up on your UC GPA. Other than the basic eligibility requirements like class standing and GPA, this program doesn't have any capacity constraints. So as long as you meet the eligibility and submit everything complete and accurate by the deadline, you have pretty good chances of nomination. However, we always recommend that students apply as soon as applications open, since they're always considered first come, first serve. And I'll go over the application timeline in the next few slides. And another eligibility note specifically for any spring 26 new transfer students this semester, you must have completed at least 1 year of coursework at a UC by the start of the program. So where we are in this semester, unfortunately for transfer students, that's not possible since you haven't yet completed a year at a UC, but potentially after the spring terms ends, you could do that. So again, really quickly, these are the terms that students can go abroad in Berkeley Study Abroad, and you might be getting excited and wondering when is the earliest you can go. So we offer programs all throughout the academic year. We are on a semester system, and where we're at in the application cycle, that's going to be coming up for spring 2027. I mentioned the notice for transfer students. You know, typically for transfers, especially of you that are watching that are spring 2026 transfers, typically you can study abroad after 1 semester in residence at Berkeley. However, the latest you can study abroad could be your last semester at Cal. So for example, if you're graduating May 2028, you could study abroad the summer after your graduation ceremonies and even maybe the fall after that. You would just need to work with your college advisor to move your expected graduation term from spring to summer or fall so you can participate in a summer or fall program and also qualify for financial aid. Students can pretty much study abroad anytime in between that. It's definitely been possible for students to go abroad multiple times and stay on track for graduation, as long as you plan early and carefully in close consultation with your academic advisors. When you study abroad really is often determined by what you wish to accomplish abroad, when you can fit it into your degree, and in what terms of programs, in what terms your programs of interest are available and offered. So some programs are only offered in the fall versus spring, things like that. And there might be some personal factors as well that will likely go into your decision, such as work, family responsibilities, and personal comfort and preferences. So just a little breakdown of academic planning, since that's a big piece that comes with study abroad. When you go through a UCEAP program, I mentioned this earlier, all your courses will go back to your Berkeley transcript and show up on your UC GPA. Grades for UCEAP programs typically post back 90 days after the program end date. So if you have something like grad school or a job lined up after your UCEAP program ends, please get in touch with me to discuss requesting a verification letter from UCEAP. And if you want to fulfill any major minor breadth requirements, this is something you'll need to work with your academic advisors on, since every academic department is a little different. Depending on your college, you could automatically also fulfill the international studies breadth requirement. For example, this is true of letters and sciences. It's also possible to fulfill other breadth requirements as well. However, you'll want to double check with your academic department to discuss how study abroad fits into your academic plan. We do have some resources on our website as well. And it is definitely possible to study abroad during this semester and still stay on track for graduation. This definitely takes careful planning, but it's definitely worth it and possible. Our office in study abroad can definitely assist you with navigating the academic planning initial process, which also involves working with your college or major advisors as well to go over your academic plan and determine which term and program is best for you and still stay on track for graduation. It's not like a linear process. There might be some back and forth with our office and your academic advisors just to make sure you have the right fit. And your academic advisors will be really helpful to let you know how many and which requirements you need to fulfill during your study abroad experience and stay on track for graduation. So when equipped with this information, you can then work with our office and study abroad to search for those programs that will offer you enough of what you're looking for and what you might need academically to stay on track for graduation. So again, I can't emphasize this enough. Advanced and intentional planning is a must in this case, right? And I can put some resources in the chat for those of you that are watching today. So in terms of study abroad at NTU, there's some information about paying for your study abroad exchange program that I want to share. When you're looking at any program, any UCEAP or study abroad program, we will have a cost breakdown on each of the program pages. And so, for example, on the UCEAP program page, there's one specifically for NTU, depending on the term and your cohort when you entered Berkeley. And then we also have what's called the first payment withdrawal deadline, which is all on the cost calculator, which is great. You don't necessarily have to be financially privileged in order to study abroad. Financial aid will travel with you, and many scholarships are available. With careful research and planning, again, you can make study abroad a reality without having to break your budget. With financial aid, if you qualify, your aid package will flex to meet and adjust to the cost of the program, which is great. These study abroad budgets are unique for each program, and these costs that you pay directly to the program, as well as personal expenses you pay on your own, could be factored into your overall estimate for financial aid. So some of these includes tuition, fees, housing, meals, insurance, books, local transportation, round trip airfare, and other pre-departure expenses. So again, if you're financial aid eligible, your aid package will be adjusted to flex and meet those costs. And all of the program budgets and estimates can be found on those cost calculators, like I mentioned. And you can also even request an estimate of your personal financial aid package for a specific program through the financial aid office here at Berkeley. There's definitely some need and merit-based scholarships available as well, just for studying abroad. These include Berkeley's specific scholarships from different academic departments across campus, our office here in BSA, UCEAP scholarships, and other outside scholarships, such as the Gilman Scholarship, which is available for Pell Grant eligible students up to $5,000 that are also identified as US citizens who study abroad. And you can see all of that information on our website under the scholarships tab. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Our office is proud to offer financial aid advising for study abroad. Once you've chosen a program before you've even applied, you can submit this request to the financial aid office via an online form. And we actually have counselors specifically for study abroad in the financial aid office. They will write back to you to let you know what to expect and how much aid you could get for that chosen program. Some other funding options that you might want to think about are individual and family contributions, crowdsourcing for funding for study abroad with other initiatives, things like that. So there's definitely options available. And if you're not sure, you can reach out to our office. We're happy to help. So that's a little bit about how study abroad works for our office. We also have what's called independent study abroad programs. So let's say you are thinking about Nanyang Technological University, but you're thinking maybe something just in the summer, you want to apply directly. So what we would call these non-UC study abroad programs, for example, not offered through UCEAP, this is an independent study abroad program. So that QR code right there is going to show you our independent program guide. And I don't want to go too deeply into this, but especially when I pass it over to Kirtana and Brandon, they will be talking about some of these direct exchange opportunities. So if you're considering it, there are two things that I want to mention. Courses taken on an independent program are going to come in as transfer credits. So just keep that in mind. It's very different from a UCEAP program, which I outlined earlier, where you're getting those courses directly to your Berkeley transcript and showing up on your UC GPA. So definitely confirm with your academic advisors how this type of study abroad could fit into your academic plan, making sure there aren't any caps for your transfer credit, things like that. And secondly, unfortunately, financial aid is not typically covered for independent programs unless you find your own funding option or scholarship, right? So again, these are some things to think about if you're planning to apply outside of UCEAP, and this is the independent guide, which I just put there in the chat. If you do have questions, you can always set up an advising appointment with me. I oversee all of the study abroad programs going outside to Singapore, or you can email us. Definitely get in touch with your academic advisors sooner rather than later to discuss how study abroad fits into your academic plan. Definitely be mindful of deadlines and when those are. And then that QR code, if you would like to hear more about some of our upcoming programs, any updates, things like that, you can sign up for our newsletter. So that's all for me for Berkeley Study Abroad programs at NTU. So I'm actually going to pass it over to Kirtana and Brandon to share about some of their experiences as reciprocity students and some exchange programs directly through NTU.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Yeah. So I'll just be talking about the three kinds of exchange programs that NTU offers, which is semester, summer, and the visiting research program. But before that, I think it'll be nice for us to just introduce ourselves. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Dana. I'm studying economics and data science third year, and I'm currently on exchange at UC Berkeley. A fun fact is I'm not Singaporean, so I'm originally from South India, from a place called Chennai, and I went to Singapore for my university, and now I'm at Berkeley. Yes, that's something interesting. And joining me is Brandon. So Brandon, would you like to quickly introduce yourself before we move on?
Yeah, hi all. I'm Brandon. Currently also similarly to Kitana, I'm also from NTU. I'm studying business with a specialization in banking and finance over at NTU. I am Singaporean, so and this I'm also a third year, which is happens to be my final year at NTU as an undergraduate. So really thankful for to be here sharing about NTU to everyone here.
Yeah, this picture is from my first outing here, which is Shelter Cove Pacifica, and I thought it's really cool. Like my first memory of the place, I just thought of adding that. But yeah, let's move on to quick facts about Singapore. So it's a sunny tropical island city-state. It has an area of 734 kilometers square, 6 million population. We have like a really unique ethnic group. We have like a blend of Malay, Chinese, Arab, Indian, and English cultures and other religions. And of course, we're one of the world's greenest cities. Like in fact, NTU itself is a really, really green campus. I think the campus is spans like an entire hill. So there's a lot of greenery. The views from our rooms are really, really nice. So yeah, there are numerous parks, gardens, and rich biodiversity. I think if you guys have seen like pictures of Singapore itself, you will know all this already. And we have like a lot of fun things that we can do in Singapore, which I'll be sharing towards the end of the presentation. But yeah, there's a night safari, Singapore Botanic Gardens, history-rich hotspots, and a lot of fun neighborhoods that you can explore if you come to Singapore. Yeah, these are some places, culturally rich places from Singapore. I think I've been to almost all of these, yeah, and I'm sure Brandon has as well because he's lived here for his whole life. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so the various areas like what Kitana mentioned are like specific to the various like races. Like so for example, like Kampong Glam is a Malay heritage site. Little India will be like an Indian heritage site, for example. And Chinatown obviously it comes from like a Chinese heritage site. So there's a lot of different areas and different cultures, blend of cultures over there at Singapore. Yeah.
yeah. Mm. Yeah. So why NTU? So of course there's a cultural immersion like we just talked about. Global networking. So I know like a lot of students come to NTU for exchange from all over the world. I've personally had a lot of European friends, people from I think the most recent friend I made was from UIUC. Yeah, so you'll meet people from all around the world with different backgrounds, following like different majors or disciplines, and it'll really benefit you personally and professionally. And we have really cool courses, a diversity of academic teachings, great professors, and great research opportunities. And it's really just a different way of life. I personally think Singapore is quite different from America, so I think it would be really interesting to experience life in Singapore as well. Yeah. Okay, NTU's global partners are in America, Europe, Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. And this just shows like you'll get to meet people from all over the world, like from all these different countries who like come to NTU. Yeah. So the first type of exchange program is the semester exchange program. So it's very similar, like to probably how I'm doing a semester exchange here in UC Berkeley. You just come for a semester, you can take the same whichever courses you can match with to NTU, and then they just come back on your UCB transcript. And yeah, you can just scan. I think I can wait for like 5 or 10 seconds if you want to take like a picture of the QR code and read more about the semester exchange program. We have like a detailed website that gives detailed FAQs and answers all your questions about all the exchange programs. So you can just scan the QR code. So yeah, it's for a minimum of 1 semester and a maximum of 2 semesters. And to be eligible, you must be nominated by a partner institution. You must have completed at least 2 semesters of study at your home university, and you must meet the minimum GPA requirement of 3.3 out of 5 or equivalent. And how do you apply to the program? So speak to your study abroad advisor, and then the home university submits a nomination to NTU, and the application goes online, and then NTU will get in touch with you. The next is a summer program. I think this is by far very unique because we have 5 different tracks. We have language and cultural studies, there's entrepreneurship and innovation, there's creative design and media, success in the globalized marketplace, and new technologies and new world. So these are credit bearing and letter graded courses, and you can enroll up to 2 summer courses within the same track or across any of these 5 tracks. And again, the eligibility criteria, you must have English language proficiency and you must meet the minimum GPA. And these are some of the really interesting courses that were offered in summer 2025. You can see, you can just take a look like at the multiple courses across all 5 tracks. Yeah. And here's how the timeline works. So if you want the 2-week program, these are the dates, and the 4-week program dates are towards the right. I think all of these will be made available later through the recording, so you can just take a picture for now. Yeah, and you can also scan the QR code to learn more about the Trailblazer Summer Program and any FAQs. Yeah. And program fees, so the for the summer, these are the program fee. Again, you can take a picture and then you can scan the QR code to view like a detailed breakdown of all the costs that would be involved. But accommodation would be an air-conditioned room, twin sharing with a communal bathroom. And what's included in the program fee is course tuition, registration, and administrative fees, and 4 weeks accommodation fee. Yeah. And finally, we have our visiting research program. So you would be in NTU as a research student, and you would be under the direct supervision of our faculty, and you may engage in research activities or discover new ideas at our state-of-the-art facilities. I personally think this is really, really cool because NTU's labs are super amazing, and our professors are really, really nice and have published research in a wide variety of amazing topics. I think this would be a really great experience. And again, yeah, you can scan the QR code for the website for more information. Eligibility criteria, you must be an active student from a reputable university, which is automatically guaranteed because, yes, you're from UC Berkeley. Your intended research must be part of your degree requirements and must be endorsed by your home university and approved by NTU. And you must hold a valid student's pass for the entire duration of the research. But again, all these technicalities will be communicated to you from NTU's side once you get accepted into the program itself. So you don't have to worry too much about that now. Yeah. And again, the fee and cost, you have the registration fee, research fee, and miscellaneous fee. On-campus accommodation is not offered, but I think there are a lot of good accommodation options available around NTU and in Singapore, so you can explore those options as well. And again, you can scan the QR code to view the breakdown of the fees. Yeah. There are some fun and engaging activities. We have the Singapore City Tour. Yeah. And then visiting all the different cultural neighborhoods. There'll be people from all parts of the world who'll be going with you. There'll be a lot of fun activities like making tea and just exploring every part of Singapore in general. I think you'll have plenty of time to do that, even if it's just a summer. Yeah. These are some of the activities that last summer students engaged in. So they went to all the parks in Singapore, played really fun like bonding activities and games, and attended like a bunch of really nice workshops. Yeah. But I think I can probably share something I'm more familiar with myself, which was my life in Singapore, because I'm also an international student. So I moved from Chennai to Singapore in 2023 for university. And I must say that it's been the best decision ever. Like, this is a building called the Hive, which is super, super pretty, as you can see. And it's where I take all my economics classes. You can come here, study in the daytime, and then there's a really nice matcha cafe that's run by students, and it's just an amazing one of the many amazing buildings in NTU. And this is the first time I met an exchange student. So he was from UIUC. He actually taught us how to play mahjong. We taught him like how to play weiqi, and we are sharing like a bunch of snacks and just like having fun and bonding in the floor of my room. Yeah. And this is from my first day at NTU, actually. So this was my first orientation where I met a bunch of people from all over the world and from Singapore. And this is NTU's mascot. Yeah. And we took like a really cute picture. And these two are from the clubs and activities I've participated in at NTU. So NTU has like a huge number of diverse and really amazing cool clubs that you can join. Some of my friends have joined sport clubs like water sport clubs or like fencing or Wei Chi or pool. Yeah, there are many different clubs. But for me, I've been part of NTU Students Union for like 3 years now. So in my first 2 years, I was part of the Public Relations Committee. In my second year, I headed the Public Relations Committee. So this is my really amazing committee. A fun fact is that 80% of our committee was actually comprised of international students from China, Malaysia, India, Hong Kong, yeah, from all over the world. And this is from my time at Management Consulting Club at NTU. Yeah, these are just some of my experiences. Brandon, do you want to go and share your experience as well?
Yeah, I think Katana has shared a very vibrant experience over NTU. Being at business, you get to take your classes over at Victoria Plaza. Used to be known as Gaia, which is a fully wooden building, and it's also very nice. Again, one of NTU's amazing buildings over there. But I think overall for like for my experience as a business undergraduate over NTU, the experience so far has been fun. For the business faculty, for example, orientation, there's like five different camps to choose from, and it's a very uh vibrant student culture and student life out there, with I believe with the residential and halls as well as the student activities there as well. There's a lot of community and support I believe in NTU, not only from the faculty but also from the students in terms of like the orientation, in terms of like student clubs as well as the residential halls which also offer like hall clubs as well, uh, which spans across various activities like what Kitana mentioned, and across sports, across recreational, and across academic clubs as well. I think it's very similar to the environment here at Berkeley. Yeah, so I think there's a lot to experience and explore over NTU with the clubs and societies as well.
Yeah. Like Brandon was saying, like the hall culture is really nice. I think we have around, is it 19 residential halls?
Mm.
Yeah. So like the NTU community is really, really big. We have like inter-hall games, a lot of like fun activities. So yeah, I think the residential culture here is really amazing as well.
Mm.
But yeah, moving on, database, you can contact the NTU team if you'd like. So this email ID is for the summer program in specific, and this is for the semester exchange programs, like the research program and the actual semester exchange program. And feel free to take a photo of the inquiry form and submit if you have any questions, and our representatives from NTU will answer them as soon as possible. But yeah, that's all from our side. Thank you. And we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yeah.
Awesome.
Stop sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Thank you
Okay.
so much just for sharing about your experiences. It looks like a very beautiful campus. It looks like there's a few folks in the room joining us today. Do you have any questions that you wanted to either put in the chat, or if you're feeling brave and want to unmute yourself, you can definitely do that. All right. Well, it doesn't look like any questions are coming up in the chat. I guess any closing words, Kitana and Brandon, before we go ahead and close out for today? Oh, okay. There is a question. Just kidding. We'll save your last words of wisdom after. Thank you so much for entering your question in the chat. Um, does this program fulfill any College of Engineering requirements? Okay, great. Yeah, so that is something you'll definitely want to double check with your academic advisors. So either your TOE advisor, your ESS advisor, whoever that might be, just because some programs are already kind of encouraged by the academic departments because other students have done them in the past. If not, that's totally okay. There's usually like a petition process, and they can clarify what that would look like. If you have anything like breath as well or minor requirements, definitely go to that appropriate college or minor advisor as well. I know that didn't necessarily answer the question, but if you do have follow-up questions, you can reach out here. I'll put the email in the chat, studyabroad@berkeley.edu. Any other questions? Um, okay. I'm not sure if this was covered, but is the Singapore NTU program exclusive for summer 2026, or is this a consistent opportunity available throughout all semesters and years? So you might have missed my portion of the presentation where I talked about how Berkeley Study Abroad does offer a partnership with NTU through UCEAP, so our University of California Education Abroad program, where all of your classes will go directly to your Berkeley transcript and show up on your UC GPA. This is offered in the fall, spring, and the full academic year. What Kirtana was sharing was about direct exchange opportunities, or what we call independent programs, which are a little bit different. We do have a guide regarding that, and I'll put that in the chat as well. Did that answer your question? Is there any other questions for me? Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so I guess, yeah, final words, Kirtan and Brandon, before we close out. Anything that you're like, they gotta know if they're considering going to this program or this university?
I think just that I think there's a lot to explore in Singapore, and it's pretty different from Berkeley. So I think it would be a great experience if you like come over and give it a shot. And it's not just Singapore, but there are a lot of amazing places nearby that you can explore as well. Like for me, I went with my friends to a place called JB in Malaysia. That's actually very close to NTU. It's only like I think 30 or 40 minutes from the NTU campus. So we went and had a whole day of fun over there, visiting all the different cafes and trying out new stuff. So I think there's more to it than just like, studying on campus at NTU, which also, by the way, I think is great because the campus is really beautiful. But yeah, that's all for me. Brandon, anything?
Yeah, I think regarding Singapore, I think Singapore is always a dream destination for, I think, for an exchange program. I think it has a lot to offer. But specifically for NTU, I think similarly to like what Kitana mentioned, is has vibrant faculty, the vibrant school community, as well as the school landscape itself is there's a lot to offer, and I think it's very different, especially of the different cultures and the different experiences that you experience over in NTU or in Singapore in general. I think in Singapore is also often seen as like a gateway to Asia, like what was shared in the slides earlier. There you can simply go to JB, go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Bali, Indonesia. So I think like neighboring countries as well. So I think it is also offers a very vibrant I would say like a Southeast Asia ASEAN landscape through Singapore, and allows you to visit like a different part of the world if compared to relatively relatively from USA. Yeah, so I think it is, yeah, do consider Singapore as one of the exchange locations, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much just for sharing those last and final thoughts. I really hope this is helpful for folks that are joining us today and that are watching the recording. If for whatever reason you have any burning questions after, feel free to get in touch with us, studyabroad@berkeley.edu. And then I could also get you in touch with our reciprocity students today, Kirtana and Brandon. Thank you so much for being our presenters today and sharing again your experiences. I'm sure this was really helpful. Wherever you are in the world, folks that are watching today, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.